Becca's kicking butt. Good job with first meeting set. Um, yeah, I guess let's hear a couple wins from Becca. Just kind of what's working. I know you've hired I think one rep, right? But you've got some pending now and some pipeline. What's working for you in terms of getting meetings set up? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot to announce that. If we're talking today from the crowd, we're trying to level up our tech game. So, is that good?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I feel like something that helped last the last training, I just learned to open people. I mean, it's part of my life, and so I feel like just me talking about it, people are just interested, and I have just to ask the question if they want to meet and
Cool.
do lunch or something. So
Love it.
I feel like I just haven't been scared to do that.
Love it. Yeah, one of the themes for last meeting was just like, if you're honestly doing this summer, then make it a part of your like this year's identity at least, right? Like this is what I do. This is my job. I'm going to talk about it and not shy away from it. And so I love that. I love that you're just like opening your mouth when people ask about what you do, not being bashful, but being proud of what you do and just what the opportunity is. And yeah, so that's awesome. Um, got some other people winning. This is the update on reps hired. So got a bunch of people at one right now, and got a couple weeks to go in terms of just like competing. So yeah, this will be fun over the next couple weeks. Let's go hire some more reps and keep blowing up. This is a big time opportunity. So okay, train the trainers. I think the main thought I just wanted to share. So I am going to introduce kind of some cool. We have some more and new training platforms coming out. We're upgrading in terms of like the tech that we're going to use to help you guys with training your reps. But I never want that to replace like the human component of teaching and coaching, right? Like the best way always to learn will always be um, teaching someone in person, teaching them principles, showing the way, and practicing with support, right? The best basketball players or athletes or whatever in the world did not become the athlete or the player that they did by watching YouTube videos, right? So we are leveling that component up because I feel like we've been light on that, and I don't feel like we've been as sophisticated as we need to be. So that's exciting, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit today, but I don't want that to become like the bread and butter of our training. You guys need to train your people and be their coach, right? That's the best way that they're going to learn. Um, yeah, and I always use my mission and learning Bulgarian as an example of this. I don't know why I always come back to this, but I was thinking literally just this morning, like how important people were for me to learn a different language, not books and not videos. So like I had a couple companions. There's two that come to my mind that were like just bright, and I asked a lot of questions. I was just shameless, and like all day long I was peppering them with questions, like on the bus, like, hey, what does this mean, or how do I say this word, or whatever, right? And that's how I learned. And so I want to I can't emphasize enough how important people are in terms of helping someone learn a new skill, right? So that'll be before summer, and it will be in summer. Today, mainly, we're going to be talking about before summer because that's the next stretch that we're working with. As summer gets closer, we will dive more into, okay, it's summer now. How do I knock with my reps? And how do I run a correlation where I'm like doing role plays and getting them up, getting people up and practicing the pitch? But right now, this will be more like classroom, one-on-one type of coaching that we're going to be talking about today with the train the trainers. Okay, so let's jump into that. So benefits of training now, a couple things that came to my mind. One, it's a recruiting tool, actually. Why is that the case, or why can that be the case? If you invite reps that aren't yet hired to come and be a part of it, why might that help them lock in and actually be definitive and like choose to jump on board? Any thoughts on that? Cool. So how can training now and making it a priority now with your reps help you with recruiting? Any ideas? Yeah, Ryan, let's pass the mic. I think you have to flip it on.
Okay. Well, I think like it'll help obviously like we're excited about the summer, but I think we have reps that we've recruited who are training, feeling like really confident and excited about their summer.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be talking about that with their people, and I
Yeah.
think that like that circle will just spread. Um, so I think that's a kind of exponential benefit of training really well and helping your reps get excited for the summer.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, part of recruiting, thanks for sharing that. Part of recruiting is just adding value, right? It's like helping people become the best version of themselves. And there's a value gap between where you're at and where your reps are at. And so them coming in and feeling like, hey, I'm learning a new skill, like it will, in some ways, it will like tip people and get them committed to jumping on board and being locked in, right? Um, I had this thought, another thought recently about like, I think recruiting sometimes is thought of as like I'm putting a net out there and I'm trying to catch people. But I also think it's kind of cool to shift it to like I'm creating this garden to like attract people to. Does that make sense? And when you've created a culture here and just in your life of like I add value, I meet with my people, I make them better. It feels less like a net, like people are trying to get caught in, or they don't want to. There's less of this perception of like this person's trying to catch me as like a fish, and more of a perception I think of just like I want to go hang out with this person in their garden because um, I'm becoming a better version of myself. So I just want to stay surrounded by this person. So there's a garden approach to recruiting and there's a net approach. And I think that training now and adding value now to your people will both help you recruit them and then also retain them. Obviously, training is the best retention tool. Period. And if your people aren't coming to training, then they're not retained. So that's a huge deal. And then smoother, bigger summer, man. Like if your people are really trained, then you'll have a much smoother and bigger summer. Um, Mason last year had 20 something reps hired, most finished, most did well, most are even coming back. A lot of this room is full of the people that were on that team. So maybe just speak to how training early and starting early with your reps and making sure they showed up trained made the summer smoother, bigger, more efficient. I'd love for you to just share and speak to that.
Yeah, excuse me. I think it made it easier for me as a leader to like focus on myself and like my production during the summer for the most part. Obviously, like there was a little bit of back and forth, but
Yeah,
when people got out to the summer, everyone sold within their first day or two on the doors. So I didn't have to stress and worry about these people who weren't selling because we had done all that work prior to the summer
hmm
and they were just able to go out and have success.
yeah,
So that was something that for me as a leader, I didn't have to worry about that. That wasn't something on my plate. And
yeah.
it just made it easier to focus on actual production.
Yep, love it. Yeah, the more you sweat in preparation, the less you will bleed in war, and that's what happened. That's basically the concept you just shared. Like you will be training your people like crazy in summer if they don't know how to sell and they show up day one and they don't know what the heck they're doing, right? And it doesn't mean you're not going to train your people in summer, but it definitely does mean that you can like more quickly turn them over and get them on the doors and them creating revenue themselves. It's a huge deal and a huge advantage, right? Because personal income will still be a massive portion of your income. And you want to be able to at some point say, okay, I'm not knocking with 3 reps today. I can go get mine, lead from the front, create a healthy culture of leadership. And my people are self sufficient. They can go catch their own fish, so to speak. Carter.
I kind of want to speak to the personal production aspect as well. One thing that I've loved about Pointe since being here is just like the culture of high tides raise all ships.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I mean, Mason, I remember the first day you were on the doors this last summer, and it was like, okay, Mason's here. Like,
I think he sold 10K his first day.
yeah, like we all knew that you
Yeah.
were starting, and it's because one, you prepared in the like preseason, and then once your reps got there, you didn't have to worry about them as much, and you just blew up on your personal production, and it was awesome to see. But it just, I mean, it's a huge kudos to you for like preparing preseason, and even though it was what your second summer last year, it's like I think there's a lot of truth that goes into that.
Yeah.
So.
Amen. Love it. Cool. So just the concept before we get into content today, I just want you guys to make sure that you're taking ownership of anyone that's in your network, right? Create systems to where no one gets left behind. Focus on direct reports. Um, and you have stewardship. I love that word, like just the idea that you have stewardship over people that you've hired, and you need to make sure that they are being trained. And if they have reps, the bigger your network is, you just need to create systems and make sure no one gets left behind. That's super, super important in the off season, and it will pay you big dividends when you show up in the summer. So, cool. So, this concept of, we talk about like sometimes in the off season we'll do these why meetings, right? Like, what's your why this summer? What fires you up? What pumps you up to go work hard this summer? Which is super important, right? Like if someone's super skilled but they're like way low motivation, then they have the how figured out, right? They're skilled, but like when things get hard, are they going to dig deep or are they going to fold, right? Um, the goal as leaders is to help people be in this quadrant where they're very skilled or they're educated in terms of the X's and O's and the strategy, but they're also very clear on their why and their motivation, right? And there's this balancing act. They're both way important. Like if you're only talking X's and O's with your people, then on a rainy day or a hot day or the first day they're behind two companies, like they might be on the curb, right? They know the pitch so well, right? They know every objection. They've studied that PDF that we're going to be sending out so well. They know everything, but like um, their why is not deep enough. And on the flip side, there's those kind of like reps that are set, they're watching all the Instagram motivational reels and they're just fired up, but they don't know, they're not skilled, right? And that can be super frustrating for reps because the hunger is there, but they're not coached properly. So today we're going to be digging more into the how, but I would just remind you that there is this kind of 1-2 punch that has to be there when you're responsible for someone in a production-based job. And they have to have a strong and clear why, but then they also have to have the how component figured out. So there's 3 steps to how we train reps. This is called the learning model. This is like anytime you're going to go learn a skill, instrument, anything, this is how to learn anything. So the 3 steps are teach principles. You're going to teach them. You're going to show them how to do it. And then you're going to practice with support. This is going to be like doing role plays, coaching them, being willing to stop them and kind of blow the whistle if you will, and like coach them up and then say go again, right? Run it back, run it back, run it back. And this is what good coaches do. So if you want to be really good at helping people bridge the gap between their performance and their potential in life, then you have to get really good at this, and this is called the learning model. So you're going to be using this all off season long, all summer long. Anytime you're not getting the results that you want to get, this is the path to go get it done. So starting with teach principles, right? So it's not enough for our reps to know how to do it. They must also understand why they are doing it. So I think that sometimes when we're teaching the pitch, we're really good at like, just say this, do a name drop, right? Like first thing you should do is intro yourself and do a name drop, right? But just be always mindful of like helping them understand the context and why we're doing everything that we're doing. I think that's a really important component of teaching the correct principles. Any other thoughts on this? Just like as you guys were learning the pitch yourself, like what helped you in terms of the why component? Mason, you have a thought? Yeah.
I much like what you said about teaching correct principles. I think it's super important to teach my people not only how to do something, but like the why behind doing it, just like what you said.
Yeah.
On the doors, I think if we teach people like the exact wording to use for every single objection, they'll kill that when they get that objection. But when they get something new, they don't know how to respond because that's not something we've practiced.
Yeah.
So by teaching them like the behind the scenes, like helping them understand like empathy, tailored response is how you can overcome any objection or something of that sort. You give them a lot more opportunity as a salesperson to have success.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they come across something that we haven't practiced, they can still rely on the principles that we've taught them instead of just the scripts or the how to.
Way cool. Yeah. So the why helps kind of fill in the gaps if something's not covered. I think that's a great thought. And I'm 8, 9 years into this thing, and there's still things that I run into on the doors or with this job where I'm like, that is a first, right? Like, but because the principles are there and the understanding of the why is there, you just fill in the space, right, with what you do know. So I love that thought. I think that's great. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Nate, Theron's working on your audio, but we're gonna have you ask your question here in a sec.
This is an experience I had with Parker actually right before last summer. Maybe less on the why, but more just on the power of teaching principles. I had started practicing the pitch and was trying to learn things, and then I sat down with Parker and I was like, Parker, I just don't understand like what are all these words getting me to? You know what I mean? And Parker's like, oh yeah, let me show you, and just drew the funnel of like doors knocked, people talk to you, how much, and just said like, look, this is how this is how sales work. This is how the pitch works. Like the numbers decrease as you get down into the funnel and work your way towards a sale. So for some of you that may have been intuitive, for me that was not. But once I had that experience of seeing the funnel and understanding the principle of like these are the first downs to getting a sale, everything like clicked after that. It made sense and I was able to kind of kick it into gear. So I guess what that makes me think is for everyone it might be a different principle that really helps it click with them, but helping someone understand, see the big picture as opposed to just the pitch, like Mason was saying, not just like memorized words. There's a direction with everything and there's a reason behind everything. And for me, that was with my experience was seeing that funnel and understanding it is what helped it click for me. So thank you, Parker.
This is not gonna be a career for some of you guys in the room, but a lot of you will work in sales, and if you're learning principles, then it applies to anything. But if you're just like learning a pitch and just like copy and pasting a pitch all summer, like are you really developing that much and learning like actual sales skills, right? And so um, yeah, I love that. I just love the idea of like, why am I doing a name drop? Why am I doing an option close right here? And just like being mindful of that as we're learning, as you're teaching. So um, here are the things, here's a list of some things that I would start to become and make sure you're an expert on, right? Like at Pointe, we have some kind of lingo that we use, and it's important that we're all using the same language, right? So some of the things that we're going to be talking about like over the next couple months, right, with our rookies and with our reps is communication filters, right? We showed this pie chart of the different types of ways that we communicate: body language, how we speak, metaverbals, and then verbals, right? I would become an expert there. What are the different types of body language? What are what are the things I'm focused on with how I speak, right? Pitch, tone, speed, all that stuff, right? What words are better to say? And like there are some words that are kind of synonyms, right? Like contract and agreement. Which one maybe helps me close sales, or which one's maybe a little bit softer to the customer? Making sure that you're trained on this stuff matters. In terms of the pitch, we have our initial approach, inciting a response, objections, inspections, closing. Um, we're going to use this lingo: buying signs, inspections, rate card, contracts. So a lot of this stuff is going to be lingo that we're going to be using, and we just want to make sure that you're an expert. And if you feel like, hey, I'm actually like not super awesome at a switchover, for example, get with your regionals and put in the work, because you have stewardship over your reps, and if you have weaknesses in your game, unfortunately now those compound into the people that you're responsible for, because if you feel like you're light there, then your people will be, right? There's a breakdown in that chain. And so it should push you to get better at a place where you feel like you need to go get better. So, and again, here's just kind of like I threw up some slides on here, but just these are things that we want you to become proficient at, right? So just making sure that you understand the steps of our pitch, right? Here's another one. We use this a lot at Point. This first down concept. I'll stop on this one. Why do we talk about this? Why is this important that our reps understand just this analogy and this framework of first downs?
Just for example, um, for a rookie hasn't had many sales.
Yep.
If you see your top reps of the team just like getting sales out of nowhere, they're like,
Yeah.
how the heck are they doing that?
Yep.
But if they see that their top reps are also getting just callbacks, they're just getting how much is, but not actually sales, they realize, oh, it's a process. Oh, I'm not out of the ordinary. I can do this too.
Yes, love that. Yeah, in some ways, you're going to leverage these frameworks to help your rookies not feel like crazy people their first couple weeks of the summer, right? Because they may not come out of the gates just selling lights out 20, 30 a week, right? But you can help them understand, like Nate mentioned, that funnel, right? Like I think of this either as the football field or a funnel, but it's like as I get buying signs, I'm at the top of the funnel and I'm moving down in the funnel. And if I'm a rookie and I'm getting a lot of buying signs, but there's a breakdown happening at some point on the way down, then at least I know like where I'm screwing up and I can go and ask my leaders for help. It's also an amazing tool for you as you're tracking these with your reps to get a feel for where they are breaking down, right? So either they're diagnosing themselves or you're diagnosing it, but there's key indicators that are happening and things that we're looking at so that we can be in the details and not just be like both putting our hands in the air like, I don't know why you're not selling, right? There's nothing more frustrating than that for a rep. And so in the off season, we can start now using this lingo, right? So like as you're doing role plays with your reps, like, hey, I gave you, you got 2 first downs on that actually. I asked you how much, we got onto the inspection, and then the wheels came off on the rate card, right? So let's start there. Let's pick up there, and let's help you get me all the way through the funnel or all the way into the end zone, right? Any other ideas on just this framework and how you guys have used it in the past? Or does anyone not understand this? Just this first downs analogy that we usually use to train our reps at Point. Tevin hasn't sold. There's a couple people in here that have not sold. I would love for again, I'm going to use this as a little microcosm for like teaching correct principles, right? But who is brave enough to teach Tevin what first downs are and why we track them? And even if it's repetitive with what I've shared, I'd love for just, for that to go down. I think it'd be cool. Jaron, I'm going to put you on the spot. Okay, so we'll have Jaron. Let's give J-Rob the mic, and Jaron's just going to briefly teach what are first downs, and why. So the what and the why. Because when you're teaching, again, it's the what and the why. So let's just all get on the same page on that.
Okay, so first downs, the what of a first down is, I like to think of them kind of just like as stepping stones. Like if you want to get to the top of the staircase or if you want to get to the end zone there,
Yep.
You got to do it in small, simple steps. And I think the why on first downs is it kind of like puts it into a better perspective for you, and you can like see the funnel working. Because like if you're a football team, you're not just going to go for a Hail Mary every time.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to score very many touchdowns doing that. But if you focus on just getting like short little gains, like doing little runs,
Yep.
little outposts, and
Yep.
like getting a few yards up the field,
Yep.
and you do that consistently, then you'll score a lot more touchdowns.
Yep. Okay, love it. Now let's get a little more granular with this. Like, what is a buying sign? What does that sound like from a customer? So what am I trying to create with my pitch on the doorstep? So like, yeah, let's go a little bit more granular on what each of these are and what they sound like.
Yeah, so buying signs can be anything from like their body language, like if you're pitching them and they're like their eyes perk up, or like you see their head turn and they're like, oh, like you're doing that, or you're working with that person.
Yep.
Like any little thing that indicates interest. And then obviously there's if they ask you how much the product is, that means they're super interested.
Love it.
They at least want to know what it costs.
Love it.
So that's a super strong buying sign.
Perfect. Way good. Okay, and where does that happen? Where does this take place at the customer's house?
That all happens on the front
On
doorstep.
the front doorstep. Cool. Awesome. Now let's talk inspection just real quick, just high level.
So the inspection, that's like the next buying sign. If they let you walk around their house and present to them what the service is,
Mhm.
that's like the next step of interest because that means they're taking time out of their day to come with you, letting you go into their backyard, onto their property to look at their house and to show you exactly what you're going to do for them.
Love it.
So that gives you the opportunity to really sell on value and explain everything that you
Cool. Yeah, love it. And then rate card and contract are pretty, pretty straightforward. But rate cards when I'm showing them the price, right? And then contract is when I'm getting to the actual service agreement. So anyway, that was awesome, dude. I appreciate you doing that. Like that is how I would whiteboard that, show my reps. And sometimes it helps doing all this stuff before I get super granular on X's and O's because I just want them to see, it's Stephen Covey, like you want people to see the end from the beginning, right? Begin with the end in mind. And when I'm beginning with the end in mind, like it'll give context to all this other crap that I'm doing along the way to get a customer to the finish line, right? So, okay, cool. Love that. Yeah, Hannah, let's give her the mic.
As we're teaching this to reps, I think it's also important that like you can take 3 downs and then get a first down. Like each step sometimes takes more than just one play.
Love it.
And so I think
Yeah.
that's super important to remember that like you might get one buying sign of body language, but they're not going to give you a how much. So you're going to need to continue to build value on the doorstep to then get a how much, which will then get you your first down to go to into the inspection.
Yeah. So
And so I
good.
think it's important to remember that it's not just 4 first downs, it's lots of downs
Yeah.
that you have to take.
Sports are deep. Everything can relate back to sports. My late stepdad, we'd have this joke. He would anytime he gave a keynote at anything, it was always a sports analogy. Oh man, just always sports. But like at the end when I'm in contract, love that thought. Like sometimes it takes 4 downs to score a touchdown when I'm at the goal line, right? So customers can give objections at the very end. Like, Tevin, awesome, man. Thanks for coming by. This has been amazing. This sounds like a great fit. Will you leave a card? We'll get back to you. Right? First down struck out, but I still got second down, right? Like I can empathize. I can share a little information, ask a question or two, see if there's something I can do to kind of like increase value or lower price and get them a little more comfortable. And then maybe I can punch it in on the second or third or fourth down. All these lessons, if you teach them to rookies, will be huge, right? Because then they're not on their first day getting in the backyard, doing all this stuff, get to the finish line with a customer, and then they take one no at contract and decide, oh man, like I got so close, right? So these are important principles that if we will teach and if they understand the why behind them, then it will create way more valuable reps that will do a lot more revenue. So let's see. Okay, cool. Any other questions on that or just thoughts on that before we move forward? Are these disconnected now? Why is that on a different Okay. Okay, now I'm on the next one. There we go. Okay. All right, sweet. You keep doing you. Okay, so brand new training platform. So again, we're going to talk today a lot about how to teach people, but we have a new app coming out and it's going to be awesome. And we are within weeks of it launching. The app has 2 purposes. One is leaderboard. It will be a really clean, awesome leaderboard that will be ready at the beginning of the summer that will have all teams on it. And so it'll be mobile friendly. It'll be, we'll have 9 or 10 teams this year and you'll be able to see all the revenue. It'll be awesome. The off-season component, which is super valuable, this can be used in summer too, is a training platform. So we have recorded a bunch of high quality, high res videos. And we want you to use these in between meeting with your people weekly or twice a week, however often you're training with your people. I think it'd be really valuable if you're supplementing with these online videos. So they'll get a login to the app. They can start watching these videos. And we aren't paying travel bonuses this year unless people have spent some time in the app and watched the videos, if that makes sense. So this year we're all about quality over quantity. We want people showing up, knowing the stuff. So As these roll out, it's gonna kind of roll out in waves in terms of the app. The first section will be kind of like talking head, like more like educational, me and Gabe kind of teaching concepts. We've also had some regionals. We all met up and did like a demo day where we did a bunch of role plays at a house here close by, showing examples of that. And then we're gonna mix in as a third layer, which is not yet ready yet, like some real sales. We're gonna mix into those and drive points home. And we have some awesome content from last summer. We got Carter Groom with some meta glasses on, slinging deals. Anyway, we have some awesome content that we'll add in there from our YouTube channel, but then some new fresh stuff. And what's cool is it'll be like a living library where throughout the summer, if you have a switch over that's awesome, like we can plug it in there and it'll be something that won't be like, it'll be kind of a fluid training library, if that makes sense. Any questions on that or how to utilize it? So there will be 12 sections to this training library, and here are the 12 sections. And I just wanted to introduce this so that you guys are in the loop on all 12 sections and how you'll be able to use it. So there are multiple videos per section, which is why there's like 25 to 30 videos total. In the introduction, it's like, work ethic, mental toughness, social skills, kind of the high level stuff that makes us unique at Pointe that we talk about. Prospecting is awesome. I had Mason put the meta glasses on and we walked through, him and Theron walked through some neighborhoods around here. And as he's like looking at homes, talked through like, I would knock that house for XYZ reasons, or I would skip that house because this car is here and the door's shut, blinds are shut type thing. So prospecting is going to be a lot of that type of material. Anyway, this is going to be awesome, and I'm pumped about it, and I think it'll just help us with that how component so that we're not just a bunch of hungry, ambitious people, but that we're very like trained and high level, ready to dominate. So questions on this, how to use it. Again, everyone will have a login to this, all of your reps will, and I would just be using it in between meetings and kind of give them homework, and I would go through the videos themselves. A lot of it's going to feel repetitive to you because it's content that we've used at our trainings. But what's cool is at our corporate trainings now, we'll be able to do a lot more show it and then breakout trainings with support instead of just us standing up and teaching stuff, right? There'll be a little bit of that, but it's mainly going to be show and practice with support this year, which would be kind of cool. So yeah, the tech will be set up in a way to where we'll be able to, like, if they're like, yeah, I've watched it all, like, then from our end we'll be able to like, well, it doesn't look like you have, dude. So you can see on your end as an admin if they've actually watched it. So Josh should be able to know which of your people are honest and not honest. Yeah, truthful people. But I think, yeah, there will be some sync up. You can see it on your end, or at least we will be able to on our end at an admin level. So, yeah, Carter.
We need to get like those Duolingo messages out.
Yeah.
So like if they don't spend a while doing it,
Yeah.
like, hey, I missed you.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't wait for all the updates. It's going to be amazing. Okay, cool. Are you guys excited about this? I think it'll be helpful. So, okay, this is like a really quick one. Actually, I only have one slide for this next part, and then we're going to break, and then we're going to cover this practice with support. But do you have any questions on this teach principles section? Main thought, again, is like teach the stuff, teach it high level, take people through it. You have those 12 sections to work with. If they show up in summer and they are experts at all 12 of these sections, they're actually going to be very prepared to sell. And so you can use this as kind of your like manual, if you will, on like, I need to teach my people all 12 of these things. And if they know these 12 things, like they should feel pretty prepared to go sell pest control day one. So, okay, cool. Show the way. So super important that you don't just teach something and then be like, cool, do you want to get up and try it, right? Why? Why is that important? Why is it important that we show it? Whether it's you yourself or another very high level rep that you can trust will show it in the right way. Why is that an important piece here? Yeah, Carter. Cool. Carter said it helps connect the dots. So a lot of us are visual learners, right? And if you're just learning words and concepts over and over and over again, but there's no like, hey, let me show you how to make a layup, like let me show you how to make a shot, then most people are not going to pick up on it, or it's not going to sink in as deep as it should. So showing is way more powerful than telling. You have to start with telling to lay the foundation, but then showing is awesome. It also shows that you are confident in your own ability to do it. And if you're not, again, like you got to go become an expert, right? But yeah, be willing to show it after you teach it, and show it the way that you taught it, if that makes sense. If there's this massive gap between like you teach it one way and then you get up to show it and do the role play or the demo and it's like drastically different, like everything's ruined because like there's like this massive disconnect and belief that, okay, what you're teaching me actually doesn't work, right? So yeah, Tone.
Okay. Something that I really appreciate learning, like I've been learning, and is when I'm role playing with Mason, he'll like actually stop me as I'm doing my pitch, and he'll be like, "You did that really good. Let's back up," and then he'll show me how he would do the next step,
Okay.
and then I go through and do that next step again.
Cool.
So like, I really appreciate like stopping while we're practicing and backing up and showing what I need to tweak, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
like that's
key,
really effective.
Yeah, and the key there, because we're gonna get into like the how to coach someone on the third one, but like him stopping and then not just saying like try this different, but like showing it. So some of this is fluid, right? These three kind of work together, and it's not just like chunked into thirds. Some of it is fluid, and when someone's struggling with a part, you can stop them, blow the whistle, like, hey, dude, I think that I want you to work on this component. Let me show you, and then it puts them in a position where they've seen it and they're in a better position to go apply it now. Carter.
I think it's really helpful to make sure that they see that you're proficient with it. But I almost always try to get another rep right after me to show that they're proficient too.
Yeah.
That way it's not like, oh, I've been here 6 years.
Yeah.
Like that's why I know how to do this really well. But like so and so, they had their first summer and they also know how to do it really well.
Yeah.
So I usually try to put up two examples so that they're like, okay, here's the person coaching me. Here's a rep that they coached.
Yeah.
It's possible, and I can learn it too.
Yeah, I love it. Yep. Yeah, you can. This doesn't always have to be you. It can be another person that you have confidence will do it the right way. So super critical to show the way. This is my last slide on this section, but be prepared to show reps exactly what you want them to do. So like again, it's got to be aligned with what you taught. That's the first thought there. I like this. I like the second one. Highlight what you want them to look for. So like as you're beginning your show the way, like, hey, I want you to look for, this principle that I just taught you with body language and how I do it, right? If they're looking for something, because when someone's just starting this whole thing out, a lot of times they don't even know what to look for, right? So if you can tell them, hey, like, and kind of guide their eyes to like what you want them focused on, that can be a really awesome way to teach. And then, yeah, stick to kind of what we teach, right? That's partially why I wanted to put these 12 sections together, is like, that's going to be the way we're teaching things. You want those to be connected. It's very powerful when what you're teaching is also aligned with, what Pointe is teaching. So show the way, be confident, and that's going to be step number 2. So anything you're teaching, guys, you're going to teach it, show it, and then the third step, which is super important, and we're going to take a quick break and then hit it after the break, is going to be, now they get up and they do it, like Tevin was just talking about, where there's a role play, and I'm stopping them and teaching them throughout it, right? And so that's a super important piece to this whole thing. And Carter's actually going to lead that discussion. But let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll pick up there. So, cool.
To our reps. So if we have it practiced so we can't get it wrong, then we're just going to be a great example for the people around us.
Yeah, very true. Any other thoughts?
All right.
Thanks.
I think there comes a level of trust with your reps, especially if you're out there slinging deals. There comes this like level of trust when
you're teaching a concept that you don't actually apply, and the reps just like feel that it's not what you're doing. And so it's really important to be transparent when you're practicing with others and show them what you're doing or what's working, and then have them tailor it to their pitch. And it doesn't have to be super high level. It can be a basic concept. But if you sold 7 accounts the other day and you're just saying you did something that you didn't actually do, I think there's like a level of trust that comes there. So it's important to be transparent when you're practicing with other people so that they can also see the same success that you're seeing.
Yeah, I love that. It kind of connects the dots between what Parker just said with showing the way and now practicing the support, right? Cool. So the first steps, set expectations, let them know that you'll stop them along the way to coach. I think Tevin brought that up just barely. Mason, why don't you speak to that? Like, why would we stop them or pause them instead of letting them finish the pitch?
Can you hear me? I like stopping them just so it's fresh on the mind. So I can say like, hey, like what we just did, they'll remember like what they said or like what happened a lot better.
Yeah.
And then we can correct it and practice it the right way moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to install bad habits too. So yeah, I love that. It's kind of uncomfortable because sometimes, especially with like a new rookie, you might have to stop them like 2, 3 times in the middle of their pitch. But every time you stop them, it's for a reason, and you want to tell them the reason. Yeah.
I think it's important too to like not you want to find a good balance, right? You don't want them to like practice super, super incorrect principles. But if they're doing something that's like a little bit off, like I don't know, I would get more and more nitpicky as they got better.
Mm,
Like if you start at the very beginning and you're just like stopping them every 2 seconds, like, hey, you did that totally wrong.
true.
Do again, do it again. You kind of have to give them little wins of like, oh, like that was pretty good. Let's just redo this one part. And then as they progress, you can be progressively more
Yeah.
detail oriented.
Yeah, very true. We'll talk about that in greater detail too. He's referencing the Oreo method. So yeah, I love that. Thanks, Mace. Keep it simple. Focus on one principle at a time. Can a veteran tell me why we focus on one at a time instead of like giving them 2 or 3 things to work on? Someone other than Mason. Thanks, Mace.
I got that.
Let's go.
It's just easier to focus on one thing. I mean, just that baby steps going back to the touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, especially at the beginning, like when you're teaching, there will be a tendency where they'll do 2 or 3 things wrong, and you'll want to fix all of them at the same time, but you can't do that. Like it's hard for a rookie, especially at the beginning stages. How do you guys decipher like if someone is doing like a couple things that need to be tweaked, like how do you decipher what is the most important principle to change? Do you have a process?
Gabe Sheridan, who's a lot smarter than I am, but my first summer when we were talking about this principle, he was saying whatever's going to move the needle the most, right? So if somebody's just doing something that is just completely preventing them from getting a sell, then you got to address that first, and then the little things that you can start to, add to their repertoire and their skill set as they start getting a little bit better. But whatever's going to move them towards the next first down the most.
I like that. How do you do you have an example of teaching somebody and you knew?
Yeah. Like there's a rep I was training last year and he would like rock. he'd be
Mm-hmm.
he'd be doing his initial approach and he'd be like rocking back and forth and I was like, and then his initial wasn't perfect, but I was like, okay, we gotta settle you down and stop moving. And that's gonna make you a little bit more confident. And then you can start focusing on the words that you're actually saying. But if you're not someone, if you answer the door and somebody's moving back and forth while they're talking to you, it's going to be kind of alarming. So
Mm-hmm.
that's an example. And then yeah, it's just whatever's going to help move the cell along.
I agree. There's a reason why we teach body language and metaverbals before like the actual pitch. So yeah, I love that. Parker, you had something to say too.
Yeah, I would just say, sweet.
No one wants to get yelled at again.
the way that I look at it is typically the most important things follow the same communication filters, right? Like what's more important, like your nonverbal communication or your metaverbal, right? And so typically it'll come that way for me. I'm like, okay, this person is up pitching like crazy. Let's get that figured out. But I almost feel like when you're teaching like a brand new rep, they learn it backwards, right? So they're going to learn like the words first. And then like, I feel like your metaverbals are the last to come, but they're the most important. So that's typically what I'll do, especially during the summer, is those communication filters and kind of work through those. But
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Going along, I guess two sets of set expectations. Consider who, I think it's supposed to be consider who you are teaching and where they are in the learning process. I think it's really important. You guys should get organized. If you don't quite remember the next time you're teaching or coaching someone, where they are in the process, in the sales process, get really organized with that. I know me and Mason, we use a Google Calendar, and I look at that thing probably more than any other app in my library. So I would utilize that or utilize something to organize like where your notes are for your reps, where they are in the learning process, and then like block aside time for your reps. Do you guys have any other tools that you use to like remember where they are in the learning process?
Something that I do is I'll give them homework to like work on until the next time that we meet.
Yeah.
I just have a Google Doc with like all of my reps and what their goals are, and then I have a section that's homework. So I'll go back and I'll refer to that right before our meeting, and I'll be like, oh, the homework for them was to study like empathy, tailored response, close. So I know that last time we worked on overcoming objections, and this next time we're going to be focusing on like applying that to actual objections.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great method. Thanks, Mace. Cool. This is the Oreo method that Mason was referring to. So you start whenever you're giving feedback to a rep, you want to start with something that they did right or like a positive part of their pitch. And then you give the feedback, the constructive feedback. And then you want to add with like some positive encouragement, like you did great, like this next time you'll do better. Why do we set it up like that, do you guys think? Yeah, like role playing in front of like a manager or in front of like a role model that you have that works for us it's kind of daunting, especially if you're doing it like in a group. If you just give them a list of like what they did wrong and they're not quite sure if they did anything right, it's like it's degrading to them, right? So it's important to highlight, okay, you did this right, which is hard sometimes. I think Cam in years past has been like, you have to like really dig in your mind, like, okay, what is one thing that they did right in this pitch? But that's way important. So yeah, you pick one thing that they did right, one thing to improve on. It's really important that we do one thing, right? And then give them some positive encouragement for the next time. And then make sure that they have a clear objective of what to improve on in the next pitch. So just make it clear like how they can like get through the next pitch in a better way. Yeah.
I was just gonna say the importance of running it back and doing it again.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes, again, like there's more confidence that comes from doing this process. The goal as a leader is to like get the rep to see and hear themselves do it right. And I think one kind of mistake that sometimes leaders will make is they'll do this process and then it's like next time this is what I want you to do differently, but you look awesome and you did this properly, so let's give them a hand, you know. And I think that I think it's normal to go 2 or 3 rounds, like, hey, I want you to try this a little bit differently. You're doing XYZ right, let's try it again. And so I would just say, like, let's create a culture of when we do role plays, we do 2-3 rounds of it to actually get better, and we want the rep to hear and see themselves make an improvement.
Yeah.
There's nothing better as a leader that it feels really good leaving a correlation in the morning. And I know I'm talking about summer, but like just the idea of them like seeing progress in themselves, leaving to go work for the day. is what you want. That's the objective. So
Yeah, that's cool. Sometimes you will have to track back to show them as well. So to add on to what Parker said, you're going to have to stop them probably a couple more times throughout their pitch. But it's actually helpful to, if you notice that they're still stumbling over one principle or one thing in their pitch and they're not quite getting it, it's helpful to like retrack your steps and show them again and then have them role play it again. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, so putting it all together, I asked Tevin and Mason for some help with this, but I'm gonna ask for a volunteer to help coach in front of everybody, Tevin. Or actually, it would be the coach. It's a coach within a coach, so it's kind of like Inception, like dream within a dream. It'll be coach within a coach. So me, Mason, the other regionals, and Parker will be coaching the coach on how to coach the rep. Does that make sense? Okay. But we're gonna do the switch over. So whoever volunteers, I'm gonna Venmo $20 to. I need to bribe you guys so that we can get a volunteer up here. But we're gonna have you teach the switchover pitch to Tevin. Tevin's awesome, and Mason will be the customer. But let's run through the switchover real quick because I think we're all pretty rusty. It'd be helpful for us to review the steps of the switchover. So we start with empathy. It's chill bill. Yeah, totally. It's a great idea to have somebody coming out to treat the home. Then we ask 2 qualifying questions. Why do we ask qualifying questions here? Who and how long?
To find out if they're in contract or not, and find out how we can one up their service, or just find ways we can provide value to them.
That's right. Yep. So when you whoever we choose as the coach, that is a principle of the switchover that you need to tell Tevin as the rep. Okay. Then we have the tailored response. It's kind of, Parker always puts it as like the logic. Tailored response is the logic that we're trying to push over to them to make them switch over, right? So my typical tailored response is just a thought. Like, a lot of people have actually been switching to us because we're local. We just do a whole lot more for a better price, right? So super simple. I like to throw in the local card. It usually makes a big difference. And then you can close them here. If you're reading their body language and they seem like they would ask how much right there, you can close them on price. Or if you feel like you need to do a little bit more selling, you can go into the need, value, urgency part. So the need, what pests made you start with so-and-so company to start out with? Tell me again, like, why would we ask that question? Tevin, love it.
Just to find the problem that they're dealing with, because most likely they might still be dealing with that original problem.
Yeah, it's most likely their hot button, and it's the main reason that they signed up. So why would we not focus on it? Yeah, love that. And then you want to ask assumptive questions relating to that specific pest. Was that more inside or was that outside when you were seeing them? Oh, it was inside. Okay, is that in the kitchen, the bathroom, the living room? We ask assumptive questions so that we can hone in about our service and how it's better. And then we get into our service, minimizing theirs and maximizing ours. This is pretty strategic, the way that we want to do it, because we don't want to offend them. And we also don't want to ask them too broad of questions to the point where that they are selling us on the service, right? Can you guys think, I guess actually, let me ask you, Mason, what would be the difference between me asking an assumptive question about someone's service versus just asking like a broad question when I'm switching them over in a switchover?
I think when you're assumptive, the person will most likely just take your word for it. So
Yeah.
if I said, yeah, I bet they come out once every 3 months, spray the bottom, spray the top, and then they're gone, the person's gonna say, yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I say, yeah, what all are they doing for you? They'll say, well, like they come out and they do this whole treatment on the bottom and on the inside, and they come out whenever I need them for free, and like I just really loved having them. So I'm kind of, yeah, they do everything. They do everything I need. And it's something they just kind of will shoot you in the foot.
Yeah.
Because instead of you telling them what they should like think about their company or the way they should feel, they're telling you like why I like them so much or why they've been a great fit for me.
Yeah.
And it just kind of puts you at a disadvantage as a salesman.
Yeah. which is why we're reviewing it. Yeah.
He was
This
supposed
is so
to.
powerful, and these are the types of convos you want to have with reps because it hammers home the why, right? Because when reps are just taught, hey, engage the customer and ask a couple questions to discover what they're currently getting to see if you can add some value. If the rep's not taught the why, which the real why here is basically to verify, a couple things with them, but you're not really asking these questions out of curiosity. Because if you're asking out of curiosity, then the customer basically is going to kind of stomp on you. But even just teaching that concept and like the why there is super important for a rep as in their progression and learning, and they're going to now do it differently, hopefully. And if they don't, then you can coach them up on that part, right? But
yeah, you should like come off as the bug professional to the customer. So like you're telling them about their service. So yeah, love that. And then we maximize our service. We want to differentiate. I usually will hone in again on their hot button. That's why we ask what bugs or what pests they're dealing with. If they say ants, then I'm not going to focus really on the eaves, right? That would be a mistake. Like you can touch on it, but you need to focus on wherever their hot button is and like how we would be different, okay? And then you close and you try to get on the inspection. So this is a really simple close. Since we're already treating here today, if I could earn your business, we'd treat the home for half the normal price. You can also throw the local card in there. If someone says no here, what would be your typical response? What's your guys' response if they, at the end here, say, I think we're good. I think we're going to stick with the company that we have? Or do we just walk away?
I think this just highlights the importance of talking with other neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you've already encountered someone who's mentioned this earlier. You could bring up, yeah, literally your neighbor Bob just said the exact same thing. The reason he decided to go with us is because of this. And then you just roll back into, a transition. So like I said, I'll just take a quick lap and I can tell you exactly how cheap that'll be. And then just go.
Yeah, just be like way assumptive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. You guys were so good at that in New Hampshire. That's great. I think one that I use, and if someone has another one that they use, usually if they tell me no right here, I will try to ask like a pretty low pressure question that I'm bound to like get a good answer on. So the question that I ask usually is, let me just ask you, like, would you be opposed to working with a local company if you're able to get a better bang for your buck? Like, who would say, like, yeah, I would be opposed to that? Most people would say, no, like, I would probably be open. And then you could use a close like that. Yeah, a lot of the neighbors said the same thing, that they were happy with the company, but since they've switched over, they really liked X and Y about what we do. Is that, yeah, Cam?
A good empathy statement I throw in there is actually I do it in the very beginning of my switchover so that this objection never comes up. Is if you hated Aptive, you would have fired him a long time ago.
Yeah.
Only reason I'm here is because XYZ. And so that kind of takes away that objection, but also it just like makes it so you're most of the people in this block had X company. They're giving me a shot because of.
I love that. I think you have a video on the YouTube channel where you did that to a lady and sold them. So that was awesome. One other thought before I have Tevin and Mason and one of you guys come up. I think it's important to teach like why a switchover is qualified and why we still try to sell switchovers. We all know why, but like let's rehearse it so that when the coach comes up, they can teach Tevin. So like why are switchovers qualified? Why do we sell them? Like what are the advantages with switchovers? Yep.
Well, if the person already has a company, you know that they need pest control.
Yes.
Like
yep.
they've already qualified themselves because they already understand the value of paying for someone to take care of the bugs. And so you already know that they have someone, they're not doing it themselves. They've qualified themselves that way. It's just either beating on price or selling more on value.
Yeah. Yeah, that need is filled already. Yeah, you don't have to do a whole lot of selling on like pest control. Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, what else? There's probably 2 or 3 things that come to mind. Yeah, Brinley.
The other thing that I tried to use when I was out there is just like people are also always looking to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can sell them like, hey, you already have that, that's great, but are you totally opposed to getting it upgraded to a better service? Which is kind of what she said. But the upgrade mentality.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, get a better service for a better price sometimes. Yeah. You have a thought, or am I just volunteering you?
I love what Burnley just said about like upgrading.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people like, especially people who already have a pest control company, like they want to know they're taken care of. They want the best for them and their situation. And by selling on value, by showing how you can upgrade their experience and help them have like a better like pest control experience and opportunity, not only can you sell a lot of switchovers, but you can sell high contract switchovers.
True.
So you can really
Where
keep
you can
your
upcharge them from their other service.
exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to like battle it on price. You can just show them how you're an upgrade. And a lot of people will switch because you do a better job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. A couple other thoughts that come to mind is that they are already budgeting for pest control too. So like that is totally out of the equation. They don't have to they don't really have to think about that piece of it. I feel like a lot of times the spouse objection is negated because if the person sees the value in switching over, there's not as much a need to like talk to the spouse in this, unless they're like really the other decision maker. So yeah.
I think one big thing too that gets easily overlooked is urgency as well. One thing that stuck with me this last year is something that Parker told us to say. It's like the reason a lot of people are giving me a shot this year is because XYZ. And so that can be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, like a good subtle urgency line. Yeah, cool. Okay, awesome. I loved this quote from Benjamin Franklin. I found it as I was preparing slides. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. So I'm going to involve someone. Tevin, let's have you come up and Mason come up. Yeah, Jaron, let's do it. J. Rob, let's go. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so we'll be coaching Jaron throughout him coaching coaching Tevin. Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to.
Okay. Okay, cool. So what, Jaron, what we need you to do, so teach the principle. You want to teach the why to Tevin, the why of the switchover. So I'll go back. And then you want to show Tevin how to perform the switchover, and then Tevin will in turn show you, and you'll coach him through it. Does that make sense? And then same as you, yeah, yep. So so you want to teach the principle first. But same as you will be coaching Tevin and like pausing him and like adding your own tidbits in, we will be pausing you. So me, Mason, the other regionals, and Parker. Does that make sense? Dream within a dream.
All right, Tevin. So switch over is just like any other objection. The first thing that you're going to want to do is show empathy, and then obviously do the tailored response and close. And the reason that we do this is to make sure that they feel heard and understood when they come to you and say, "Oh, I have this company." You don't want to immediately be like, "Oh, you have those guys?" Like, you're an idiot. Like, you want to make sure like they don't validate them in having that company, but validate them for having someone. And it just helps you kind of build that relationship, and they'll trust you more. So maybe we'll have you just real quick, just try the empathy line. Mason's going to be your customer here. You just knocked on the door.
Let's keep teaching the principle. So we probably want to walk through the whole switchover first.
Okay.
So that they see a whole outline. Good job so far though. And then after you do that, we want you to show it. And then after you show it, we'll have him perform it.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So next, after you've shown them empathy and they understand that you hear them, with the switchover, it is a little bit different than some other objections. You do need to qualify them, and the reason you do this is to make sure that you're not like wasting your time with someone who's locked into a 2-year contract with a $500 cancellation fee. It is possible, but sometimes you just have to pick your battles there. So you qualify them, who treats your home, and how long have you had them coming out. Just kind of helps you gauge their interest and where they're at. Also, asking them who treats their home plays a big role in, like, when you're in your market, you'll get to know all the other companies in the area as well. So you can kind of have a game plan for if someone has this company, you know what they do well and what they don't. So you can go off of that. After that, you'll just give your normal tailored response. The basic one here is just so you know, a ton of people are jumping on with us. You can say something like, yeah, I get a ton of business from those guys just because of this and this. And then it's super simple. You'll just go straight into the normal close. My trucks are here in the area. If I could get you to hop on, I'd do it for half the normal price. So now you want me to walk?
Now we'll do this piece. Yeah.
Oh,
really
okay.
good, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
You're making it so simple. It's awesome.
So after you close, you'll probably need to, they might ask you how much. You might need to work through a couple more objections. When you're presenting the inspection for a switchover, like we discussed, someone who already has a company, you know, they already have the need of they're seeing bugs. So a good question to ask is just, what bugs were you seeing that made you call these guys out in the first place? And then they'll say this and this, and then you can say something like, were you mainly seeing them in the kitchen or around the outside of the house? And this question, it assumes that they have the problem and that they need it fixed. And sometimes it can help you. The reason that you'll want to do this is because it'll help you further gauge where the customer's at with their company and really what their hot buttons are and the reason that they bought pest control in the first place. After you've established the need, you'll present the value of why our service is better than the other service. And you want to be really careful in doing this. Obviously, you're selling them something. You want to present why you're the best, but you want to do it in a way that's respectful, and not completely like insulting them and be like, again, in the beginning, like, you're an idiot for having this company. Yeah. So should we go back?
Yeah, let's show the first part.
Slide? Okay.
So now you'll
do you
show it.
want me to show? So I'll show this to Mason.
Yep.
Okay. It's my first pitch in a while. We'll see how this goes.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
There you go. Hey, I was just stopping by to let you know I'm going to be doing a lot of work in this area in the next few days. We're working with Bill and James just down the street. I don't know if you know. We're just doing the pest control for them. Who do you have?
Yeah, I've got active, so we're good. Thanks,
Gotcha.
though.
Yeah, definitely super smart to have somebody coming out and do that, but you'd be kind of crazy not to. Just a question for you. How long?
A couple of years now, like 3 or 4.
Gotcha. Yeah. A lot of your neighbors were using them as well. They just been giving me a shot this year just because we're a super local company, just done a couple things a little bit different. If I could make it make sense for you, would you be willing to give me a shot as well?
I mean, maybe. Like, what do you guys do differently? Like, what's your thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let me show you here. I'll just.
Okay, and let's pause right there.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll give.
Okay. So
Dark horse.
that's not the greatest example. That was my first switch over in like 5 months. Yeah, I was. Okay.
Okay, cool. Now you'll pick up where you left off here. You're almost finished with the service part.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a quick example of kind of what a switchover would look like.
Do we want? Yeah, let's have Tevin practice that.
Oh, true.
Okay. Yeah. So if you just want to show that real quick.
Yep. Okay. Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm just living my best life. How are you doing?
Doing good. How can I help you?
Good. Hey, we're just in the we're doing the pest control for the Andersons and the Smiths down the street. Who do you have doing that for you this year?
I've got Optiv, so we're all good.
Gotcha.
Thanks,
It's
though.
honestly super smart to have pest control. You'd be crazy not to. I guess it's just something to think about. Reason why a bunch of people in your neighborhood are switching over to us because we're doing a treatment that's a little bit more about or sorry.
You're good.
The reason why a bunch of people in your neighborhood are switching over to us is because we're giving them a good deal. We're here local, and so we're doing what we call our custom home treatment for everyone. If I can fit you in and it makes sense for you, we're doing it for super cheap.
Well, cool. How much is it?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay,
Dude,
we'll
yeah,
buy that.
That's
good.
honestly, if that was great. If you had not told me that you were brand new, I would have guessed it like sold a couple summers. Uh, so yeah, the only thing that I would really like just tweak in there is obviously just getting a little more familiar with that tailored response. But I like your initial approach was perfect. You seem confident in it. So once you get all that wording down and remember, like you'll be solid with that.
Any other feedback? Okay, I think that was great, Jaron. Good job.
So now we are back to minimizing, maximizing. I think. Okay, so after you presented the need, he asked you how much. You're in the inspection. What you're gonna want to do, and sometimes an inspection is a great place to look for signs. Like there are visible signs that you can minimize and maximize. Like I've been on plenty of inspections with people who have been using a pest control company, and there are spider webs just everywhere. So it's something that you can point out like while you're going around. You can say something like, "Yeah, so I'm guessing they just come do a little squirt around the base," which that's what most of the companies do. What I'll actually do for you instead is I'll do the 3 feet up and the 3 feet out, and I'm actually going to come and take care of all of these spider webs, wasp nets up here as well. So you minimize their service and maximize yours in a very respectful way. Just pointing out the obvious. This is what I'm going to take care of for you as well. So yeah, that's what separates us from the other companies. And then obviously, back to the need, there's other things that they can give you. There's mosquito treatments. There's fleas and ticks, and you'll know the areas and what bugs people see, and how you can minimize and maximize. And the reason that we do this, the why behind this, is it really just builds a lot of value for our service. One thing that I found when I was out selling is that you're not always going to be able to beat someone on the price. Like most pest control companies cost a similar amount of money. Like you might be able to be $10 a month cheaper or something like that. But in the end, really what gets people to switch is if they can see the extra value. And a lot of times they're even willing to pay more for that. So that's kind of why we do that there. So I will now show you kind of what that looks like in an inspection. My name's Jaron.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Jaron.
What was your name?
I'm Mason.
Mason. So nice to meet you. How long have you guys lived here?
2 years, like 4 or 5.
Cool. So it sounds like you've had pest control pretty much the entire time you've lived here.
Yeah.
What was it initially that made you call them out? What were you mainly seeing?
Just like the sugar ants and the spiders.
Yeah, that's what a lot of your neighbors were seeing as well. So what we do for those, like I said, it's just a little bit different than what most companies do. Most people will just do that little squirt around the base. They might go a little bit into the yard to kind of take care of those. What we do that's a little bit different is, I'll show you right here, is we'll actually go 3 feet up and 3 feet out all the way around the perimeter of the home. And what that does is it creates a barrier. We use a product that those bugs will trace with them back to the nest, and it'll just flush everything out of the home for you rather than just killing all contact like most companies. Um, and then another thing that I just noticed right here is over in that eave, you can see there's just a couple cobwebs. It looks like they might just be treating the base for you, if I had to guess. One thing that's included in our service is we got a 25-foot pole. We'll sweep all of the eaves and apply a product up there to keep those from coming back for you. So what I can do for you, if you're willing to give me a shot just while I'm here in the area, our trucks, like I said, are just down the street. If I can fit you in today or tomorrow while we're here, I'd do it for half my normal price.
Cool. Well, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I'll show you right here.
Sweet. I'm gonna pause right there.
Okay, Tevin.
Okay.
So
now he will. Yeah. Go ahead.
What did you notice from when I explained it to you, and then from when I just presented it? What things in there? What principles did you notice?
I noticed, is this on? Yeah, it's on. Okay. So I noticed that as you went through, you asked them first how long they've been in the area and figured out how long they've been with the company. And then you went through and kind of explained to them what their service is because they've probably seen them working, but don't know exactly what they're doing. So I noticed you said like they kind of squirt around the edges, which makes it seem like you kind of minimized it, what they do. And then you said maybe they get up in the eaves or something like that. And then you went on and explained what your service does, and you like put a lot of value into it. So you said like, yeah, we go 3 feet up, 3 feet out around the entire perimeter, and the 25-foot poles to get the eaves and out into the yard a little bit. I can't remember everything you said, but yeah.
Cool. Sweet. So just take everything that you saw there. This is your first time doing it, like no pressure. There you might make a few mistakes here or there, but I'll stop you if if there's something that's easy.
Okay.
So here's this, and here.
All right. What was your name?
I'm Mason. What was your name?
Heaven.
Nice
Nice
to
to meet you. Mason, how long have you been in the area?
Like 4 or 5 years now.
4 or 5 years. Okay, and so you've been with Aptiv for a few of those years.
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
about since we moved in.
Okay, awesome. Well, so reason why your neighbors are switching over to me is I'm sure Aptiv's done a really good job for you guys. I'm guessing when they come out, they'll do a squirt around the edges of the home, and
Right here. Yeah.
Okay. What did he say that you want to coach him on?
One thing I noticed is there are some times where you want to repeat the name of the company to the customer, because psychologically that will validate. You said it sounds like Aptiv has been doing a pretty good job for you. Yeah, they have. One thing that you can do instead is just say, how long have you had pest control? And when they come out, like you can say, I'm sure they've done fine. Like, or you could throw in that line, someone said you would have fired them already if they were doing a terrible job. That's just a couple things you can tweak. Otherwise, like everything looks great. You introduce yourself. One thing I did notice that you did really well is you said his name right after he told you his name. That's a great way to build a connection with someone really fast is to say their name throughout the pitch. But yeah, good job.
Jaron, can I add something too really quick? I would, if I were you teaching Tevin, I would just work on because we teach need, value, urgency as part of the inspection. So I would ask Tevin, and I would say, hey, Tevin, what was the need that we found for this customer? Because if we look back, he skipped that section of the inspection. So I would just I would highlight that again, say, awesome, what's the need that you found? And he'd say, I don't know. And he'd say, awesome, it's important to ask that question before we go into the value.
I don't know.
Okay. I think we're ready. So you're in the backyard. Let's try it one more time, and this time start with the need.
Gotcha. Hey Mason, what was the reason why you started to call out pest control?
Yeah, we were just seeing a ton of ants. So my wife hated having them all over the kitchen, and we decided to call someone out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would not want to have ants climbing in my food in the kitchen. That would not be awesome. Did you see the ants more in the kitchen or just all throughout the house?
Mostly just in the kitchen, but we saw them a little bit everywhere.
Okay, good to know. So I'm guessing when the pest control company comes out, they'll kind of spray around the home. Do you notice that they come in and spray in the house as well?
Yeah, they do when I want them to.
Awesome. So I'm guessing they'll do a squirt around the home. They'll spray inside the house, kind of knock down the spider webs and the eaves. The reason why the Andersons are calling me is because we'll do all those things for you, but we'll do what we call our custom home treatment for you. So what we'll do is we'll do our power spray, or our power treatment. Spray the bad word.
Good job. Good.
We'll do what we call our power treatment, where we'll go 3 feet up the house and 3 feet out around the entire perimeter of the home. Also up here in the eaves to knock down these spider webs, we'll use our 25-foot pole to make sure that they all get knocked down. And then we'll make sure as we come inside the house that we thoroughly treat the inside of your home. We're a local company. We want you to make sure that we value your community here. And so let's see, if I can get you a good deal, or if you let me come out, we'll do it for about half.
Really good. Yeah, I think really, really good.
Okay, give it up for Tevin.
For a first time ever doing a switchover, like, yeah, really good job. Like I said, I think you've got like the basics of everything down. Really just need to like fine tune some verbiage there and some body language, and you'll be good to go. I honestly I'm not sure what feedback I would give him in that.
How far do we want to keep going? Yeah, I was just gonna say.
He's always got something.
Thanks, Carter.
I've known you for long enough. I know.
I was just gonna say, like, I always will reinforce the steps. So, like, if it's overcoming objections, I'm always gonna teach the principle of like empathy, tailor response, close. With an inspection, I'm always gonna talk about need, value, urgency. So, Tevin, your need was super good. Like, you found out that I had ants. You found out where they were. So that's my hot button. You went to the value of the service. You talked about what Aptive does for me and then what you'd be able to do differently or better. The only thing that we were missing there is we forgot to close with like an urgency line. So if I could squeeze you guys in while I'm out here, like I said, I'm doing a huge discount. Would you be willing to give me a shot if I could like squeeze you in today or tomorrow, or like some kind of a close? Okay. But other than that, I think your need and value are super good. We just need to make sure we're closing with the urgency. So Jaron, like it's feedback for you. I would just make sure I'm touching on those 3 points
Immediately after.
Yep. And if he's missing one, like I would just go back and I'd say, hey, this is what we're missing. Let's try it one more time and focus on the part that we missed.
On this one. Or if he's not missing one, then that you go walking through everything that'll reinforce what you just did. Like, and say you hit the need, you hit the value, and this is what you did to hit the urgency.
Yeah. Yeah. Does anyone else have feedback? Okay.
Nice job.
How long do you want us to go, Carter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good job.
Give it up for Tevin. Give it up for Jaron.
You want to do key takeaways or okay.
Takeaways. Thank you guys all for coming tonight or today. Where's the clicker? Okay, just key takeaways before we finish up. Appreciate you guys being here and just getting better, right? I think we all that 3-step process is how people learn. It's how they get better, and we can all coaching's super fulfilling. It takes work, just like learning how to sell. The actual coaching component, it's a skill and it takes work, right? Like, so let's all just lean into it and get better. The only way to get better at it is to get reps in, right? Like Jaron, that was an awesome rep. You just learned a lot, and so we all have the next couple months to go apply this stuff. Theron, did you have someone that has a question? Okay, cool.
And then be ready to move that.
Yeah, gotcha.
We'll turn it over to Gabe and then.
Hey, great training today. I hope that those, and there wasn't a lot of any verbal, like from anyone when they talked about what are the takeaways, but I hope that you can see that just like learning how to sell, learning how to teach someone to sell is a learned skill, and it takes work, and being able to not just teach it but then to be able to coach it and critique it. And as the president of the company, looking at opportunities and strengths and weaknesses of our organization, this is a place where we have an opportunity to prepare and to improve. Parker talked about how we've invested a lot of time and resources this year into giving you better tools to train. But I really want to echo what he said. Watching a video is not a replacement for having a great coach. And we're counting on you to become really good coaches for your reps. And so in the next 4 months, as we're training reps and doing preseason trainings, I hope that you as leaders will lean into Parker and your regionals and me to help you become better coaches. And so if just like you're helping your reps get better at selling, this is a learned skill, and you're not going to just master it by sitting in this meeting for 2 hours today. So please dedicate the next 4 months that you have to getting better at coaching, because the better you are at coaching, the better your team can get at selling. And there's a direct correlation there. And so if we want to, I love the idea that Carter shared of high tides raise all ships. Like this is an important way for us to raise the tide. And there's a direct link between how well you get it at following the steps and the principles that were taught today and really learning how to apply them effectively and becoming a great coach. That's tied directly to how well your team will do this year.
There's nothing more frustrating for a first year rep. You guys have all felt this probably, where you go out and you work your tail off and you don't get the results that you want to get. And then I guess hopefully you haven't felt a lot of this, because it means our leaders have let you down. But we've all felt it to an extent where you feel like I'm not getting the answers that I need to go get the results. There's a breakdown happening and I'm working my tail off. I'm knocking the doors. There's just nothing more frustrating than not having the tools or the answers necessary to figure out the how component. And that's on us, like extreme ownership. If reps are experiencing that, then it's on their leader, right? If they're knocking over 100 doors a day and getting in front of 50 plus people, and it's not translating into sales, there's a breakdown in skill set that's happening, and we need to coach our people better. And so anyway, we're excited to go figure this out this year. A big theme this year for us is quality over quantity, and we want per rep averages to improve in a big way. And we're only going to achieve that if our coaches get better. So any other takeaways from today as we close up? Just any nuggets that you guys learned or excited to kind of go work on, think about, ponder on over the next couple of months? Mason?
I'd just like to say that selfishly, if you want to go out and be a better sales rep this next year, the best way for you to do that is by coaching others. I think it really helps you like look in on yourself and see what the system actually is and what you need to do to get better. So not only like is it going to help your team sell a lot better, it'll help you sell a lot better. So
Yeah.
just an idea or a
Yeah.
thought.
If you want to get better results, I think, and you want to become an expert, then experts aren't experts unless they can, like, with words, teach someone else very simply how to do something, right? And when I had a big jump from my first year managing here at Pointe to my, I had a couple summers where I did 500-600 accounts. And what changed, honestly, in those off seasons was I had a lot more reps that I was responsible for, and I had to learn how to teach all the frameworks, like really simply. I could no longer just rely on like charisma and telling jokes and like, I had to very simply, scalably teach people how to follow the frameworks. And then what happened was, like, now I've done this so many times and I've had so many reps where, like, with my eyes closed, I listened to that role play that Tevin did, which Tevin, that was, by the way, you're going to kick butt, dude. But right away he skipped need, right? He skipped need. He jumped right into scope of service. He didn't discover any need with the customer. They're a switchover, and he's got to discover need. And it's just, you get that by getting reps and doing something over and over and over again. but teaching someone is even a better and more like amazing way to master something. So just lean into it, right?
Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to agree with what Parker's saying. I think it's Atomic Habits or one of the other many books out there where they talk about a photo competition where one group, their assignment is to take as many photos as possible, and then another group, their assignment is just to take one amazing photo. And the group that comes out with the best photos are the ones taking as many photos as possible. And so I just love the idea, I feel passionate about the idea of the more reps you get, the better you get, and the best reps that you'll get. You know what I mean? And so I can, for myself especially, this is me just being accountable to the whole company. Like I feel the desire and the need to go out there and be okay to fail and not be good at training people as I'm trying to train them. And because that will be the fastest way for me to become good at training and coaching people in this way. So I love it. I feel fired up.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. We can close with that thought. I think that's awesome. Don't be too proud to be bad at something, right? We all at one point were bad at the new thing that we're trying out, and like don't be too proud if you're not getting the results that you've wanted to get, or if you want to go to another level this year, then check your ego. If you're bad at a certain skill set, like go learn it and find someone upstream maybe that's kind of better at it, and then try to teach it downstream. And if you teach them the wrong thing or you mess up, like be proud and own it because you're on this journey with them. But yeah, this was fun today. Love you guys a ton. I hope you have an awesome Christmas. I have a bunch of goal setting journals if you guys want one. I have some here at the office. We want to add value, and we just love you guys a ton. So grateful for you. We hope you have an awesome break, and we will see you on January 10th at that here for that morning. It's going to be fun. So any last questions before closing up? Got a couple more weeks of this incentive. Let's just keep filling up these teams and use the fact that we're starting trainings in January as urgency. That would be my tip with recruiting over the next couple of weeks. As you're circling back and following up with people that you've already met with or people that you've been meeting to hit up, use the timelines as your ally. That would be a big recruiting tip over the next couple of weeks. So love you guys. Thanks for coming this morning. Appreciate you.